Once again, there was an excuse, and Boston said, nah, we're not going to take that. Jaylen Brown was awesome. Joe Mazzulla is a maniac. It's all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Thanks to Blockbuster brand, it's holiday season. Drop Drew in the mix, and 3 from KP. No, we not on the Knicks. Flushing competition like Al on Giannis. Juice and Big Juice, still Beantown's finest. Banner 18 going up in the rafters. Watch the C's game in Locked On after. Karalis on the breakdown, clutch like a tip from D. White on the breakdown. John on the mic, documenting domination. Matter pen a back bay, it's all C's nation. Rain and J's, how we started, raising business, how we finish. Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners. Peace.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here in the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and I've got you covered every single day, Monday through Friday, with a free, fresh podcast that drops directly to your device. So subscribe if you have not done so already. Also, hop into that YouTube channel, catch us over there, watch the show. You can get into the comment section, let me know what you're thinking about what I'm saying, about the team, about whatever. I'm John Karalis. If you're new to the show, I used to play a long time ago. Now I'm covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. And for you, because you're the Celtics fan, I do it all just for you. Today's show is full of post-Celtics Suns. Celtics get the 15-point win. Later on, Joe Mazzulla, the maniac, I'll touch around too. Him trying to block Royce O'Neal's shot. It's like the one thing everybody's talking about, but I will talk about it later. We'll get to Jaylen Brown specifically in just a minute. Let me just start with how impressive this game was. Once again, the Celtics had a ready-made excuse. First game back from a long road trip. It's generally a dicey situation, right? You've gone on this big trip. You've been gone for like 10 days. It's been, 3 games in 4 nights, all of that stuff, all of the stuff that makes you tired. And yeah, I say this all the time. I say it all the time in this podcast, but if you're new, I'm repeating myself a little bit. Yeah, they are on a private plane, a chartered plane, but it's still a plane. You still have to, you still can't be like standing straight up on it. It's still a plane. It's still a pressurized cabin. Yes, they're in great hotel rooms, but it's still a hotel. It's not home. You're not in the same kind of groove. So it wears on you being on the road. It probably wears on them a little bit less because of the accommodations, but it still wears on you. And then you get home and it's just like, oh man, my bed, my life, my everything. It's all right here. I'm going to chill out and relax. And it's tough to get that first game back in that first home game and really dive into that and have the energy. But they did. That's, to me, the most impressive part. And the fact that the Celtics continue to have, I would say, 90, maybe 90+% of the time this season, when there's been an excuse against a bad opponent or a schedule situation, they haven't really given into that. There's the very obvious stretches, right? They had a couple of bad games where they played down in Memphis and Charlotte. They had that one game in Milwaukee that was just an abomination. That schedule, they just could not escape that part of the schedule. But it's happened so infrequently that they are, it's just, I don't know, it's just an impressive part of the schedule, right? It's impressive that a team as good as the Celtics will kind of avoid that stuff, not give into that stuff, especially when they are kind of known for giving into that stuff. That's, the Celtics have done that in the past. So that was nice to see. The big story of the game itself on the court was the 3-point shooting. 25 of 50 from 3. They it's the two 3-pointer shy of the team record. They've made 25 3-pointers now 3 times this season. They did it once versus Golden State. This is the second time this month that they've done it. They did it earlier this month against Golden State. They did it against the Clippers. They normally, when they shoot 53 pointers, their percentage is kind of average to below average. They had one good shooting night against the Clippers where they shot 47%. The Celtics were 25 of 50. So this is the first time this season that they've taken 50 and made half. That's you can look no further than that aspect of the game. The Celtics and the Suns both made 47 field goals. The Celtics made one more free throw than the Suns. So Phoenix and Boston, if you didn't know what had happened in this game, Phoenix and Boston both make 47 shots, and Boston makes one more free throw than Phoenix. And that's one where you'd say, well, John, give me more. Well, okay, yeah, they had 19. The Suns had 19 offensive rebounds to Boston 6. Ooh, so maybe the Celtics lost this game. No, they won this game by 15. They had a lead as high as 20, I think maybe a little higher, because Boston hit 25 3-pointers. So that's 75 points from three. And Phoenix hit 11 3-pointers, 11 of 31. That's 33 points from three. So that's a 42-point difference from three. That's not going to win you a whole lot of games, Phoenix. Boston, this is Joe Mazzulla's favorite kind of result. In fact, I would say Mazzulla could probably look at this and be like, yeah, we shot really well. They shot a tiny bit below average. The free throw disparity wasn't so great. So the extra shots that they got, you can look at that second chances. That's how they stayed in it, the second chances. But that 3-point barrage was where Boston won this game. And I'll be honest with you, I loved the shot selection in this game. I loved it. Of the 25 3-pointers, 20 of them were assisted. This wasn't a bunch of pull-up shots. You're going to get a fair share of pull-up shots when you take 50 of them. But of the makes, only 5 were just straight pull-ups. You know, a couple of them were Jayson Tatum when he was on fire. One was Drew Holiday in transition where he just got completely, left alone and he just stepped into a nice rhythm 3-pointer. So those were all good shots. The Celtics drove and kicked all night long, and they got the ball. They spread that shot around. Jaylen Brown, 5 of 9 from 3. Tatum, 4 of 8. Al Horford, 6 of 10. How about Big Al? 6 of 10. 3 of 9 for Derek White. 3 of 5 for Holiday. 2 of 5 for Sam Hauser. Pritchard, 1 of 1. Xavier Tillman hits 1. He's 1 of 3. So just good shot distribution. And I thought, even though Boston took 53 pointers and what's that work out? 39 2-pointers, I thought almost all of the shots, and no shot profile is going to be absolutely perfect, but I thought this was, for the way the defense was playing them, for the types of shots that they were getting, how open a lot of these shots were. I really like this shot selection. So this was a well-played offensive game, I thought, from the Celtics. The other big story is the points, the second chance points, where in the first half, the Celtics were outscored 15-3 in the first half in second chance points. The first half offensive rebounds for Phoenix, 13-1 for Boston. But then you get into the second half, and all of a sudden, the Celtics start boxing out. And the Celtics start pulling in some of those defensive rebounds. That second half, second chance points was 9-8 Phoenix, and it was 8-7 until garbage time. And they got one extra second chance bucket at the very, very end when it didn't matter. So in the second half, 6 offensive rebounds for Phoenix, 5 for Boston. And again, that one extra one was garbage time, so it was even for both teams. That's where, so the Celtics were bombing away from three, and in the second half they pulled away because they didn't give up second chances. That's the story of this game. Well, okay, maybe it's not the full story of this game because Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum were amazing, and Jaylen Brown, especially 37 points for him. I'll get to these individual games and Jaylen Brown's game in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by eBay Motors. Our partners over there at eBay Motors have teamed up with Locked On Fantasy Basketball host Josh Lloyd to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week, all season long. So whether you're preparing for the daily draft or scouting the waiver wire, here are some players that are guaranteed to fit your roster. It's eBay's Guaranteed Fit Fantasy Picks of the Week. Josh has picked 5 guys. There's Norm Powell, who is getting a big opportunity with the Clippers, with Westbrook out and Kawhi dealing with a back issue. Jock Landale in Houston with Alperen Şengün's injury ending his season. Grady Dick, they're playing him a bunch in Toronto, so he's an option there. DeAndre Hunter is the only forward left standing in Atlanta. But why don't we focus a little bit on Keyonte George, who we just saw in Utah. He's a rookie, but he's filling it up. And if you are a Celtics fan and you haven't picked up Keyonte George, what are you doing? You just saw him. Keep Utah close. He's a guy that can fill it up. He's taking charge in Utah. The only thing slowing him down at this point would be an injury. Josh Lloyd from Locked On Fantasy Basketball is going to help you win your fantasy championship. And eBay Motors knows a championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. It's the same with your vehicle. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you can make sure your ride stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, roof rack, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or you get your money back. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Sports today. You know it's the first ever 24/7 streaming channel. But hey, baseball fans, mark your calendars. March 20th at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 7 p.m. Eastern. The best MLB season preview is coming exclusively to Locked On Sports today. March 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Be the first to get local insight from the MLB local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network. Find it on March 20th at 7 Eastern on the Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or on the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Free Amazon Fire TV channels app. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's get back to this discussion here. Individually, you get down to 2 players, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown. JT got them started early in this game, and Jaylen Brown took it home. They both ended up with 20 points at halftime, but Jaylen took over in the second half and brought it home. Tatum, 26 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. A nice night for him. 10 of 18 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3, 2 of 3 from the line. Just did it all. He was a plus 26. He was on the floor. In the first half, Jaylen was scoring, but I think Tatum in the first half was the guy in control of the game. He had it all working. Like his second quarter was sublime. That was big time Jayson Tatum performance. Jaylen Brown in the second half took over and was just scoring and doing a little bit of everything as well. 37 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Just 1 turnover for him, 3 turnovers for Jayson Tatum. 8 turnovers overall for Boston. So that was just another night where they take care of the ball. And honestly, if this is how well they're going to take care of the ball, there's no stopping. If you can't turn Boston over, then you're not gonna beat the Celtics. So Jaylen was awesome. 14 of 23, 5 of 9 from 3, 4 of 6 at the line. So again, it's One more free throw and he's fine. So that's not a big deal. But we would still like to see the free throws. But Jaylen afterwards, after the game, I asked him a bunch of questions about his progression. I think the one play that, I mean, obviously it stands out, right? Because it was at the end of the game, 3 minutes to go. He misses a three, right? So Boston goes up 19. It's 9 minutes to go. You're thinking, oh, 9 minutes to go. You start getting that flashback of, hey, 9 minutes to go with a big lead. That was what happened in Cleveland. And Phoenix starts to make not a little bit of a run. I'll call it a little bit of a push. They hit 3 baskets. Derek White hits a 3. So it's a 6-3 run, but it's not really a run. 6-3 is not a run. But it's 6-3, and it feels like, okay, they've made 3 baskets to Boston's 1, and it was Boston made a 3-pointer. So anyway, Jaylen gets the ball. He misses a 3, and you think, like, okay, this is the point of the game where maybe in the past Jaylen would kind of hang his head and be like, oh, man, just start to run back and be like, I missed. Let's just get back on defense. But what Jaylen did here, just keeping his head on a swivel, keeping his eye on the ball. Grayson Allen tries to outlet it over to Devin Booker. Jaylen sneaks in, steals the ball, dunks on Grayson Allen, and big moment, dagger, because at that point it's back up to 18. There's about 3 minutes to go. Not over, but essentially that's where the game was finished. And that it stuck out to me, not just because great steal, great recognition, kind of stopping and being like, oh, I see Grayson Allen. He doesn't see me though. And boom, he gets there and makes a steal. Like, it's a great play and it's a dunk. It's a poster dunk. So obviously it stands out, but it also stands out because that Jaylen stuck with it. And not so much for this season, because he hasn't done it this season. But in past seasons, when I think of Jaylen Brown, I think of, like, a weakness of his has historically been that kind of like 1,000-mile stare. When something's not going his way, maybe he's made a mistake, missed a shot, turned the ball over, whatever, come back playing defense, and he's kind of like got that 1,000-mile stare. But it's not like he's staring, if I'm sitting there defending, right, and I'm looking this way, one way, and on YouTube, I'm looking right at the camera, but the ball is to my left and my defender is to my right. And I'm looking somewhere in the middle because my peripheral vision is I can see the man, I can see the ball. I just got to shift my gaze a little bit. And if I'm doing it this way, if I'm kind of like able to stay in a spot where I can see the man, see the ball, and if he cuts, I can react. But Jaylen didn't do that. Jaylen, when he would do that and he get that big, like, blank look on his face, he's just thinking about something. And he has admitted to that he'd kind of get lost sometimes in the flow of a game, and he would get backdoor cut. He used to get backdoor cut 2-3 times in a game. And it was just like, oh, all right, can you get Jaylen out so you get him refocused? But he has come a long way. And like I said, I have not seen that this year. In fact, I brought it up after, I think it was the Utah game, where he sniffed out a backdoor cut, and it's just great to see him sniffing out backdoor cuts because, again, big sign of progress from where he used to be a year or two or more ago to where he is now. The awareness, staying present in the moment, and just when you're present in the moment and you're like, okay, missed the shot, what's next? Who cares that you have to have that? Who cares that I missed? What's the next play? And the next play was, I'm just watching this ball. I'm watching Grayson Allen. I'm processing real quickly that he doesn't know that I'm watching him. He thinks I'm running back, but watch me, boom, and makes that steal. That's not a play that you typically see him make, and it's not a play that a lot of players make. So that progression has been huge for Jaylen. And I think this is part of the what makes him an all NBA level player? What makes him so good since the All-Star break? What makes him so good this season? The first month of the season or so, Jaylen, I think, was kind of behind the rest of the team as far as I just don't think he was quite on the same page. And then end of November, December, it just clicked. He I don't know what it was. Something clicked, something he I don't know what it was. I really don't know what it was. But whatever it was, it clicked and he just joined the rest of the team and he's been playing, honestly, I think since December, the best basketball of his life. He's been an absolute, not perfect. No one's perfect. No one on this team has been perfect. But since December 1st, December, January, February, March, Jaylen Brown, the absolute best basketball of his career. And it showed in this game. Again, he just was consistently good and accepting the defensive challenges, making the right plays on offense, knowing when to give the ball up versus when to kind of force the issue a little bit, when to drive, when to kick. All of that stuff is coming so much more naturally. So shout out to Jaylen Brown for that progression. Shout out to Jayson Tatum for kind of feeling the game and saying, oh, they're double teaming me. I'm going to just move the ball and not getting into like, oh, it's my turn now. This was the Jaylen Brown game. And this is, sometimes one of these guys has to step back and sometimes the other guy's taking a big step forward. And that's what this game was. So a great game from Jaylen. Good stuff. All right. After that Jaylen Brown dunk came Joe Mazzulla's crazy play. I'll get into a couple of these other guys, just quickly mention that, and then I'll get into Joe Mazzulla, the absolute maniac, in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by Stitch Fix. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist who understands your style, your size, and budget, and they do all the shopping for you. It's the easiest way to update your wardrobe this season. You can easily upgrade your wardrobe with a professional stylist that helps you find new, on-trend favorites that'll work for you. Just give your stylist your size, your style, your budget preferences, and then you order the boxes when you want, how you want, and there's no subscription required. You just send, you get sent 5 just for you pieces, the outfit recommendations, pro styling advice. You keep what works, you send back the rest. Your stylist will always send just right pieces. The fit is going to be on point, and they have Style ESP. However they do it. They just will figure you out. No problem. Stitch Fix makes it all so easy. You don't have to shop. They save you time and effort. Plus, the outfits make you look good. If you don't love something, send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free. Style that makes you feel as good as you look. Get started today at stitchfix.com/lockedon. You can see that on the bottom of the screen on the YouTube page. Stitchfix.com/lockedon. That's stitchfix.com/lockedon. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA, covering the whole league, top to bottom, rotating hosts all week long. I'm back on the Wednesday show next week. I've missed it so much, but when the Celtics play on a Tuesday night like they did tonight, that's my priority. So, but I'll be back on Locked On NBA next week. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts. A couple guys to mention here, just quickly. I mentioned Al Horford, 6 of 10. Just what a progression for him. Just this what he used to be to what he is now. A guy who's going to take 10 3-pointers. It's amazing. Credit to him for playing as well as he does. Plus 3 steals, a block. Celtics were very active defensively, especially in the second half. Al Horford, a great game. Derek White, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. That one block, that one block was straight up on Yusuf Nurkic. Nurkic is probably thinking, oh, look at this. I got this skinny little guard on me. Watch me go right to the hoop. Nope. Denied, rejected. You cannot get past Derek White. Block shot, another block shot for him. He might be the best defensive guard in the NBA, Or it might be his teammate, Drew Holiday, who had 2 blocks and 2 steals and 10 assists to go along with 9 points, 3 of 5 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3 shooting. Great game from Holiday there. Sam Hauser, 2 of 5 from 3, like I said. Overall, nice game from him. Celtics getting something from everybody, including Joe Mazzulla, who almost had a block shot of his own. So after, if you missed it, after the Jaylen Brown steal and dunk, Phoenix calls a timeout. Royce O'Neal, who was 0 for 7 on the night, 0 for 5 from 3, has the ball. He's just kind of like meandering near the Celtics bench, and he just takes, it's one of those, the whistle is blown. I'm just going to take this shot just to see if I can make it, just to feel good. And you see Joe Mazzulla wind up and challenge the shot. He almost got a finger on it. He almost blocked it. And then Derek White goes up and kind of knocks it away off the rim. And you can kind of see Royce O'Neal, his shoulders kind of like slumped a little bit. He's like, come on. After the game, Jayson Tatum was asked about it. He said, yeah, I saw it. It's just Joe being Joe. It's as simple as that. Jaylen didn't see it because he was too busy hyping the crowd up after his dunk. But he said, that sounds like Joe Mazzulla. Joe Mazzulla is a maniac. Absolute certified maniac. And after the game, he was like, no, you don't get to just take free shots in front of our bench. If the ball is in front of our bench and someone on the other team is going to take a shot, players are told to challenge that shot. The staff is told to challenge that shot. Mazzulla is going to challenge that shot. He does not want anybody in front of his bench taking a shot and then being like, oh, finally, I made one, and going back to the bench feeling good. He says it's gamesmanship, but that's the rule. That's Boston's rule. And if he said, if no one does it, they will get a talking to. There will be a repercussion. If you see someone winding up to take the shot, you contest it. You challenge it. No one gets that look in front of our bench. I respect that, man. I respect it because it is gamesmanship. But you know what? That's a little bit of an FU attitude that we've all been looking for. That's a little bit of an attitude where it's like, oh, you know what? No, you don't get to do this. That's our rule. You don't get to, you can only stop so much. Like if they're on the other end of the floor and they'll do it, hey, there's only so much you can do. But if you can stop it, if you can prevent it, we're going to prevent it because you don't get clean looks before the whistle, after the whistle, clock running, clock stopped. You don't get clean looks. Not if we can help it. This is like the old KG mentality. Like KG used to goaltend every one of those after the basket shots because it's the same thing. He's like, I'm not letting you see the ball go through the hoop. Not on my watch. And then it kind of caught on. That mentality. So this is all a very KG mentality. So, but everybody knows I've been saying Joe Mazzulla is a maniac. He's an absolute maniac. He's strong principles, strong beliefs, knows what he wants to do, knows what he wants the team to do, knows what good basketball looks like to him. And that's the plan. That's the pattern. That's what you're going to do. And this is part of it. So respect. If I'm a player and I see my coach out there doing it, I mean, first of all, I'm going to laugh because I'm like, this dude's crazy. But you know what? Give me a little crazy. Give me a little bit of that crazy on a basketball court because you kind of need to be a little bit crazy. You kind of need to have that attitude. You know what I mean? You kind of need that. So it's funny, man. It reminds a quick story of when I was playing in college and we played in this tournament. I forget what the schools were. It's like a little 4-team tournament. And our school, Emerson, had historically sucked. And this team invited us over. And we were playing the host team. And so you do like a little banquet. Wes Unseld was there. It was really cool. I do like a little banquet. Everybody gets up and says, hey, nice to be here. Thank you. All that stuff, cordial, whatever. Our coach gets up on the mic and he goes, I know why we're here. You invited us so we could be the walkover so the home team can get to the championship. I'm going to tell you what, that's not going to happen. So, and that's it. That was basically it. He laid down the gauntlet to the point where we were all like looking at each other like, oh my God, what is he doing? What is he saying? But he basically was just like, middle finger, we ain't those guys. I don't know what you thought, but we ain't them. We beat that team. We won that game. We lost in the next game, but we beat that home team. They did not get they did not get to win their own tournament. So sorry, boys. But that's the type of crazy you need in a coach. And sometimes, we probably should have lost. We weren't as good as that other team on paper, but we went out there and we won that game. A little bit of crazy goes a long way in basketball. All right. That was fun. Look, Joe Mazzulla, I've been singing his praises from the beginning. And I think people are starting to kind of catch on. Maybe not everybody, but as I say, he can't win until he wins. You can't win until you win. Until he wins a championship, people are going to say what they say. And maybe after he wins a championship, people are still going to say what they say. But I think he's the right guy, man. Anyway, that's it. Celtics win. No help, by the way, in the standings. But the magic number shrinks because the Celtics win. So they're at 52-14. Milwaukee wins. Oklahoma City wins. So Celtics still 9.5 games up on the Bucks, and they are 6 games up on the Thunder. Still very, very comfortable lead. And unless the absolute unthinkable happens, they're going to be the top overall seed. So I will be here after every game. The Celtics do not play now until Sunday. So a couple days off from the podcast. But next week, once I start podcasting next week, I'm going to be podcasting 13 out of 14 days because of that game schedule. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. Every one of these podcasts is free. It's available everywhere. It's available on YouTube. So subscribe, become an everydayer. Join me for every one of these podcasts. Let's have some fun together enjoying this Celtics run. And I would love it if you share the podcast, spread the word, tell your friends, tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here in the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.